Today was Christmas sweater day at work, so I got like this gnome sweatshirt and it's cute. Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday. I am sitting in my car on my lunch break. I just picked up some Starbies, always, but I wanted to start a reading vlog that I plan to do this weekend because I need to film it. I need to film the intro, and I figured why not do it right now while I'm on my lunch break in my car. I'm filming it on my phone, so like I won't be able to show y'all the pictures that I have. I'll just like put them on the screen instead. But I'm doing a reading vlog this weekend where my Instagram followers decide what I read. So I've already uploaded 2 polls because I needed to start a Kindle book and a audiobook. So I have those polls running. They've been running for at least a couple of hours, if not overnight, for the first poll, and then I uploaded the second one a couple of hours ago for the audiobook. But they're going to be choosing what I read all weekend because school is done. I've got no plans, and my hope is to finish 3 or 4 books just this weekend, and I think I can do that. But my fate is in their hands, the hands of my Instagram followers, or the clicks of their votes. So my first book, I'll go ahead and upload the polls, like I'll put a little screenshot of them here. But my first poll was for 2 books on Kindle Unlimited. So they got to choose between Phantom by Greer Rivers and Fake Empire, I believe, by C.W. Farnsworth, I believe is the author. And Phantom won. I'll go ahead and show the results of the poll right here. And then my second poll was for 2 NetGalley arcs that I have, that I also have audiobooks for, that are like easily accessible. So I put up a poll for Slingshot by Mercedes, I forget their last name. So Slingshot, which is a YA, and then the other book was The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gold, which is also YA. So I have 2 Kindle Unlimited spicy romances, 2 NetGalley YA arcs / audiobooks, and I believe that Slingshot is winning for my second poll, but I'll go ahead and confirm that in a second when I get off my phone, and I'll include a screenshot here as well. But those are my 2 books I'll be starting the weekend off with, and when it comes time to have them vote for a new book, I will go ahead and update y'all. I'll update y'all throughout the weekend as well, just with like the reading progress that I've made. But my goal is to be very productive because, again, I'm not going to be doing anything but reading this weekend, so it should be a fun time. I am excited. I'm going to be doing live sprints tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited. It'll be a good weekend, hopefully very productive, but I cannot wait. I'll update y'all probably tonight, fingers crossed. Hopefully at some point I'll have made some progress in my books, but I told everybody on Instagram that I'd be putting new polls up when I was about 50-ish% of the way through my current read. So I'll probably be uploading a new poll tomorrow, depending on how much progress I make in these 2 books tonight after I get off work in a couple of hours. But that's the plan. I'll go ahead and update y'all tonight with some reading progress, and I will chat with y'all later about the synopses of these books as well as my thoughts on them. So I 100% did not update y'all last night after I started reading my books, but I have made some progress. I have yet to finish anything, but I am 80-ish% of the way through my current audiobook, which is Slingshot by Mercedes Helnwin. This is a NetGalley arc that I have, young adult contemporary, very dramatic, but I'm kind of having a good time with it. But I should be able to finish this one right after noon. Yeah, it's 10:45 right now. I'm 72% of the way through this one actually, but I have an hour and a half left of the audiobook, so should be able to get that one done pretty easily. I'm also 15 or 20% of the way through Phantom. This is a romance retelling of Phantom of the Opera. Naturally, we've got some bipolar rep in it and stalker vibes, and it's a good time so far. I'm not super like far into it yet, obviously like 75-ish pages, but it has been good so far. So I'm excited to keep going with that one. But I think once I finish this one and get to about 50% of the way through Phantom, I'll go ahead and post my next poll for my Instagram followers to choose, and hopefully I'll start another book tonight, because I think that now that I'm into Phantom and I'm almost done with this one with a Slingshot, that I'll be able to read Phantom pretty quickly. Even though it is almost 400 pages, I don't think it'll be too hard to get through it pretty quickly once I get settled back into reading after I go to the gym and finish up Slingshot. But I don't know what I'm gonna go for next with my poll. Probably something else that's on my Kindle that I need to get through, but we will see. I'm not sure. I'll probably go ahead and share with y'all in a couple hours. Hopefully I'll update y'all and share what the next 2 polls are going to be, and then I'll give it a couple hours for everybody to vote while I finish up Phantom, and then I'll start my next read hopefully tonight again, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. But I'm feeling pretty good so far. Like, I've read a couple hundred pages since the weekend has started, so that's good. But I will hop back in here in a couple of hours with an update on what's gonna happen next. Alright y'all, it's been 4 hours since my last update and I have finished a book. I finished Slingshot and I ended up giving it 3 stars. I did write a NetGalley review for this one and I pretty much just said that I enjoyed it. It was fun. I feel as though it would have made more sense slash been more plausible, a lot of it, had the characters been a couple of years older. The more I thought about it and the more it was mentioned, it was kind of weird for me to imagine that the main character was only 15 years old for a majority of the book. I felt as though the things that she was going through as a 15-year-old were like nothing that like I as a 15-year-old was going through, and nothing that like any of my friends went through as a 15-year-old. And maybe like society has just changed. I feel like 15-year-old girls now are not the same as 15-year-old girls like when I was 15 years old, and that was only 7 years ago, which is weird to think about. 8 years ago almost. So that's weird to me, but maybe that's just my personal experience. But I do feel as though some of the things that she was going through, Grace, who's our main character, were just very abnormal for like a girl who's barely a teenager to be going through. But again, maybe that's just me. But to give a quick synopsis of this one, it's about a girl named Grace who goes to a boarding school on her father's tuition money, or her father's money pays for it. Her father actually has another family in a different state who doesn't know that Grace and her mom exist, but he pays for her school. She's going through it right now. She's trying to navigate like lust versus love and being obsessed with her teacher, but meeting a boy and not wanting to like him, but they become friends and they fall in love and they date and they break up. And it was just very dramatic. Like it was, I mean, I liked it. Like it was a fun and dramatic and captivating ride because there was so much going on that I just couldn't help but want to keep going. But at the same time, I also like didn't love it. I didn't really learn anything when reading it, and I feel as though the growth was very lacking up until about the last 2% of the book. I still gave it 3 stars. I still liked it. It was fine. And that was a NetGalley arc that I got checked off my unread shelf. I am now 33% of the way through Phantom. I'm reading it on my iPad right now because my Kindle is charging. I am on live sprints and just started, so I should be on live sprints for the next couple of hours. But I will hop back in hopefully tonight one more time to give another update. But my plan is to post another poll in about 2 hours. The books that I have on the poll, picked out for the poll, are Long Story Short by Serena Kaler and Bet on It by Jody Slaughter. And we will see which book ends up getting picked. I'm kind of hoping that Bet on It gets picked, but either way, they both look like contemporary romances, and I think I'll enjoy either one. But those are my 2 picks, 2 more digital NetGalley arcs that I need to read. So yeah, that's the next poll pick, but I will post that in a couple of hours once I get closer to halfway in Phantom. It is 9:07 on Saturday night. I am already 39% of the way through Bet on It by Jodie Slaughter. This is the book that was winning the poll by the time I finished a Phantom. And before I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and upload my next poll because my goal is to get to 50% before I go to bed, and that'll give, you know, everybody 8 or 10 hours to choose my next read because I'm absolutely flying through this romance. But I did finish Phantom a couple of hours ago. I gave this book 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't quite expecting to give it 5 stars when I first started reading it, but I was just so addicted to Scarlet and Soul, who are 2 main characters. This is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. He has been keeping an eye on her. She has bipolar disorder and is in school for music, and a romance ensues between them. He and his brother kind of like run a big chunk of New Orleans, and there's some murder and violence and mystery in the air at the same time as their romance is going on, and I just loved it. I thought the mental health rep was so well done, and I was getting angry during this book. I was laughing, I was feeling sad for the characters and like hurting with them, and I just had a really good time with it. So 5 stars to that book. Book number 2 is done for the weekend. And then now I am, of course, reading Bet on It by Jodie Slaughter. This is an adult contemporary romance, has anxiety rep in it and PTSD. So far it's really good. It's kind of like friends to lovers. He's temporarily in town where she is, and they play bingo together with Walker, who is the main male character's grandma. And then Asia is our female main character, and they're just fun. We get to read from both their POVs, which I always love to see. So far, no complaints about it. I'm enjoying it, and we'll see how the last 60% of it shapes up to be. But I'll probably go ahead and hop back in here tomorrow when I decide which poll has won for my next book. I will go ahead and share really fast what the next poll is going to be. They will be choosing between Stay Awake by Megan Golden and The Shadow House by Anna Downs, switching it up a little bit and doing some thrillers for the next and probably last round, but we'll see. So we'll see which one of those wins, but both of them are also NetGalley arcs, so I'm kind of on a NetGalley roll this weekend, which I can't complain about because I've got too many unread books on my shelves. But that's all for this update. I will hop back in here tomorrow at some point with my next one, and hopefully tomorrow ends up being, ouch, not really ouch, but whatever, just as productive as today has been. It is Sunday morning. I have already been to a coffee shop, got some food, and worked on some YouTube stuff. I have also almost reached the very end of Bet on It by Jodie Slaughter. I am so loving this book. It is friends with kind of benefits to lovers, and there is a third act conflict which we're in the middle of right now, which is kind of sad, but like their relationship is just so cute. Like, it's so much fun. I really have enjoyed Asia and Walker, and like watching them get to know each other better, and also like watching their attraction grow. I think the mental health rep, the anxiety rep, and PTSD rep in it is very well done, and is definitely hitting home for me in certain aspects, and I have just really enjoyed my time with it, and I'm excited to finish it up in a little bit. I do think that the poll winner for my thriller poll was Stay Awake by Megan Golden, so as soon as I wrap up the romance that I'm reading right now, I'll go ahead and swap to the thriller, and I think that once I finish it up, this will be my last read for this weekend. And if I finish the thriller like before this evening, then I'm just gonna go ahead and take the rest of the night to relax and probably not really do any reading. But I have read a lot this weekend, so I can't really complain, and I will have achieved my goal, because my goal was to read 3 or 4 books this weekend, and I'm almost done with book 3 and should easily be able to finish book 4 before the end of the day. But I'll probably hop back in here one more time before then. I'm gonna start getting our apartment cleaned because my family is coming into town in a couple of days to do Christmas with my grandparents. So maybe I'll get some B-roll of that while I keep listening to these audiobooks. But I'll hop back in here either tonight at the end of this weekend or tomorrow after work, depending on when I'm able to find the right time to film my final updates. But fingers crossed I end up enjoying the thriller, I'll let you know my thoughts on it this evening. Y'all can probably hear the landscapers in the background of this video, and I apologize, but it is what it is. Today was Christmas sweater day at work, so I got like this gnome sweatshirt, and it's cute. But it's Monday afternoon. My reading vlog for this technically ended yesterday once I finished up my 4th book for the weekend, which ended up being Stay Awake by Megan Golden. I don't know if I gave a review for Bed on it, so I'll just go ahead and share my quick thoughts on it, which is the romance that I read before Stay Awake. But I ended up finishing Bed on it early afternoon yesterday, and I gave it 4 stars. It was so cute. I very much enjoyed it. This has a friends with benefits to lovers trope. If that is something that you're into, they play bingo together. He's a temporary person in their town while he takes care of his grandmother, who our main character Asia is friends with. She plays bingo with Walker, the male main character's grandma, and that's how they meet. And they make a bet that every time either of them wins one of the bingo games, they can be together physically. And it was fun. It was cute. I thought the mental health rep was very well done and not something that I had read in a while, so I appreciated diving deep into anxiety disorder and PTSD in this book. It was fun and it was cute, but it was also heartwarming and heartfelt and deep. And I appreciate that in my romances a lot of times. So I did very much end up enjoying Bed on it. But Stay Awake I also finished, and it was wild. I also ended up giving this book 4 stars because there are 2 very specific plot holes, or like plot points, that I felt as though were not developed all the way. And I'm not confused, but I wanted to know like how these 2 plot holes were going to be wrapped up or explained and things like that. But other than that, this was a wild ride. This is about a woman named Liv, I think Liv Reese, who does not remember the last 2.5 years of her life, the last 2 years and 3 months of her life technically. She wakes up one day having no idea where she is, where her stuff is, where she lives, and she's trying to figure out this stuff that's been going on recently. There's a dead body, and she's connected to this dead body somehow, but she has no memory. She's getting creepy phone calls from somebody. We interweave her past and her present together, and we're learning more about her past while she's forgetting everything, and this build up to this tragic thing that happened in her life. But was she also the killer in this current present time mystery? This book was so addicting. I was so intrigued from the very beginning, and I could not put this book down. Again, there were a couple of plot holes that I felt could have been further explored, which is why this book didn't get 5 stars from me, especially because there was so much like build up in them that I thought they were going to end up being something very important, and they weren't. But other than that, super addicting, fast pace, a fun read that had me like shocked and gasping and like trying to figure out who did it and what's really going on, because I genuinely had no idea what to expect by the ending, or I had no idea what to expect coming next from chapter to chapter, and so I really enjoyed it. This was another NetGalley arc that I had, so I'm glad that I got it done. I still need to do my review for it, but I will hopefully do that this evening at some point. But yeah, that wraps up this weekend reading vlog where my Instagram followers picked the books that I read. I ended up achieving my goal. I read 4 books, and they were all 3 stars or higher, so I will take it. I read Slingshot, which ended up being 3 stars. Y'all can definitely hear the people outside, the landscapers, and I apologize, but the sun is gonna go down soon, so I wanted to get this filmed earlier rather than later. So I read Slingshot, and then I read Phantom, which I gave 5 stars, and then I read Bed on It, which I also gave 4 stars, and then finally I read Stay Awake, which I also gave 4 stars. So an overall very fun weekend with lots of reading and just like relaxation at the same time, and I am super happy with how this weekend turned out. That's all that I have for today's video. I might do this again sometime soon because I love like the control being out of my hands and making other people choose what I read. I really had a good time with this one and definitely would like to do it again in the future. But anyway, that is all that I have for today's reading vlog. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.